Hippos are one of the most dangerous animals in the world. They kill about 500 people a year.
Now with that ABC News exclusive, the American tourist hospitalized after an encounter with a hippo in Zimbabwe.
She's more towards the middle. The canoe tipped forward to where I fell into the water.
Marcus, get out! Get out now! The frantic shouts echoed across the water. The camera footage shook wildly, capturing only chaos and splashing foam. A monstrous shape erupted from the muddy river, massive jaws, glinting tusks. In the next instant, Marcus Reed was gone. It was supposed to be just another morning on the Zambezi, a calm sunrise river tour for curious tourists. Instead, it became a moment of horror that would forever be etched in the minds of everyone who witnessed it. This is the tragic and shocking true story of wildlife guide Marcus Reed, his final moments, the terrifying power of the hippopotamus, and the lesson written in blood about nature's hidden fury. Before we begin, please subscribe, like, share, and comment below. These stories matter. Your support helps us keep sharing them and keeps their memory alive. Let's start at the beginning. Marcus Reed was no ordinary wildlife guide. At 34, he was already a veteran of the river. Years spent learning the winding channels, reading the moods of animals, and keeping tourists safe in the wildest places on Earth. People said he had the river in his soul. His voice was calm, his smile disarming, and he could name every bird overhead and every track in the muddy banks. To his guests, he was the friendly expert. To the animals, a respectful intruder who knew when to back away. But that morning, something changed. July 9th, 2022. The sun had just started its climb over the horizon, turning the Zambezi's surface into rippling gold. Marcus led a small group of tourists in a motorized canoe, 6 passengers, eager to see the river's famed wildlife. He spoke softly as they glided along, pointing out fish eagles perched in the trees, waterbuck grazing at the edges, crocodiles basking like statues on the sandbars. It was the magic he lived for, the chance to share the wild with the world. But lurking below the surface was Africa's most unpredictable killer, the hippopotamus. Despite their gentle, lumbering look on land, hippos are responsible for more deaths in Africa than lions, leopards, or crocodiles combined. Weighing up to 4,000 pounds and armed with tusks that can slice a man in half, hippos are fiercely territorial and surprisingly fast, both in the water and on land. Marcus knew this better than anyone. He'd seen what they could do, boats flipped, bodies crushed. But he also knew how to read their moods, how to steer clear of danger, or so he thought. The first sign of trouble came at 6:43 a.m. A sudden ripple in the calm water, then another. A shape, dark and hulking, just beneath the surface. Marcus's tone changed. In the audio from the GoPro footage, you can hear it. A tightening of his voice, a note of alarm. Stay calm, stay low. Everyone stay in the boat. The hippo surfaced briefly, snorting, jaws gaping, a warning, a show of strength. For a moment, the boat held its breath. Tourists shifted nervously, cameras clutched tight. But the hippo submerged again and Marcus let out a slow breath. He thought it was over. It wasn't. Seconds later, the water exploded. The hippo lunged from below with terrifying force, slamming its massive head into the side of the canoe. Screams cut through the air. The boat rocked violently. Marcus shouted, "Hold on!" But the next surge flipped it like a child's toy. Chaos. The footage goes wild. Water, screaming, flashes of sky. Marcus's voice is heard again, strained but steady. Get to shore. Stay calm. Swim slow. No splashing. He knew thrashing would only draw the hippo's rage. But then, silence. Witnesses later described it as an ambush. The hippo surfaced directly behind Marcus, jaws opening impossibly wide. Before anyone could react, it clamped down. Marcus vanished beneath the water in a swirl of bubbles and blood. The water churned violently. A woman screamed his name, her voice breaking in terror. "Marcus! Marcus! Get out! Get out!" But there was no getting out. Rescue boats arrived within minutes, but it was too late. They found Marcus's lifeless body floating near the mangled canoe. The cause of death was blunt force trauma. His spine shattered, massive puncture wounds from the hippo's tusks. July 9, 2022, 6:49 a.m. Marcus Reed was gone. The aftermath was immediate. News outlets carried the story worldwide. Tourist guide killed by hippo in Zambezi horror. Beloved river guide dies protecting guests. Tragedy in the heart of Africa. Memorials were held in his hometown of Livingston. Friends, family, and fellow guides gathered by the river's edge, lighting candles and laying flowers on the water that had been his life and his death. But there were also questions. Why did this happen? Marcus was cautious, experienced. He knew the risks. Some blamed the tour company for sending boats too close to known hippo territories during mating season, when aggression spikes. Others said it was simply nature, raw and unforgiving. One of Marcus's oldest friends, also a guide, said it best. "You can know the river. You can love the river, but you can never own it." Today, tourists still come to the Zambezi, drawn by the promise of wild beauty. But those who knew Marcus say his story should be remembered as a warning, that beneath the calmest waters, danger waits, that no matter how strong the bond between man and nature, instinct never truly sleeps. If this story moved you, if it made you pause, reflect, or question, don't let it end here. Please subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment below. Help us keep telling the stories that matter, stories that remind us of the power and peril of the wild.